Cool. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on this morning. We're just going to be talking about how we can support our whānau rurally. So I'll just start by introducing myself. So my name's Nicole. I'm a clinical leader for Plunkett Line, and I'm also the clinical leader for the virtual delivery team for Whānau Whina Plunkett. And I will just let Marianne introduce herself.
Kia ora, my name's Marianne. I'm a Plunkett nurse working in the Dargaville area and surrounds, and I've been in the role as a Plunkett nurse for around about 5 years now. Just joining Nicole today to talk about what services we can offer to rural whānau.
Beautiful, thank you. So yeah, we're going to talk about so the flexible options we have for whānau, especially those living rurally, and some virtual supports that we have here to support those whānau. So first, I'd just like to ask you, Marianne, what's it like working as a Plunkett nurse in a rural area?
Yeah, it's a very cool role. I get to drive to some really beautiful places, see whānau in places that I wouldn't normally travel to. Also, seeing whānau and tamariki being raised, maybe in some challenging circumstances. Like it's definitely a different childhood to being raised in a city or a sort of suburban setting. So it's very cool. I feel very privileged seeing some of the roles the mama that I visit play. You know, mama that are shearing sheep, milking cows, feeding calves. So it's a great job.
Cool, thank you. What would like a typical day look like for you in your role?
A typical day, I guess, sometimes that can start off with a visit in the township of Dargaville, or it may be travelling half an hour north up towards the Waipawa forest to see whānau up there. Sometimes the visits can change too. A mama may message me to say, hey, look, milking's taken a little bit longer than I thought this morning. Can we push that back half an hour, or can you come in the afternoon instead? So the day is definitely changes, and I try and be really flexible in the role that I do, so that, because I know that whānau are busy and we need to work around when they can see us.
Yeah, cool. So when you mention flexibility, what does that sort of look like for whānau? I know you mentioned working around, like shearing sheep and that sort of thing, but can you just talk a little bit more about that flexibility that we offer?
Yeah, sure. So with the flexibility, I guess recognising there's a lot of seasonal work that goes on farms and for whānau living rurally. And so sometimes, I'll be saying, the next visit's due in June, and that might turn into the conversation of that's a really busy time of year for us. And so we'll look at, if things are going well, let's push that visit back to August. Having conversations about the days that they are coming into town, because sometimes things get a bit crazy on the farm. The house is maybe not in a state that they want people to turn up and see them, so let's try and make that a clinic visit instead, because that works for them. They have older tamariki that they're dropping off to the local kindergarten or childcare, and let's try and make that appointment, say, at 9 a.m, because your kindy drop-offs at that time also. So let's try and make that visit work for you. Time and place that suits them.
Yeah, cool. And I guess in doing that, being flexible, it means that, we might be able to capture mum and dad, because, dad's been milking in the morning. So if we move that appointment slightly later, we can capture that.
Yeah, absolutely. And often for mama, that's really important too. They can feel a little bit, if you've got a busy toddler that you need to bring in with you, and you've got the option of coming in at 11 a.m. when dad can come into town too, and maybe look after the toddler so that mum can focus on talking about her concerns with baby, solids, feeding issues, anything that's going on. It's really cool to be able to offer that and say, hey, yeah, let's do it 11 o'clock when you feel more supported. Or we can get dad involved, talk to him about sleep and that support for you and how important that is too. And to give dad the option to look at the growth charts, ask those questions too that he has. So, yeah, it's really cool when we do get dads come into clinics as well. It's really, it's awesome to have them involved.
Yeah. Cool. And I guess what other support is out there in terms of like kaiawhina and karatane?
So we do have Plunkett kaiawhina and karatane services with Plunkett. In Dargaville, I'm supported by two really awesome kaimahi, and that situation I was explaining earlier, that we want to do the check in June, that doesn't work for the family because of milking or calving season, things like that. If there's been concerns with growth, I can ask the Karatane nurse or Plunkett Kaiwhina to go out and visit the mama and do a weight for that baby earlier, and that just gives us that reassurance of, yes, we can wait to do the full well-child check in August, but to get that reassurance, make sure that growth is tracking well, let's do this in June, and they can just pop out, do that visit, do the weight for their baby, and then look at doing the full check in August. Yeah, so yeah, it's a great service. Plunkett line's also something that's hugely valuable. Many parts of New Zealand experiencing shortages, and so being able to get into a GP can be a real struggle, waiting 2 or 3 weeks. And I know for Whānau living in the Dargaville area, it's not unusual for some of them to have to travel 45 minutes. We don't have a White Cross. There is sort of no after-hours service available, so trying to make the decision if your baby is unwell or your child, you have to make a decision about, do you travel to Whangarei to the ED? So being able to call Plunkett line and having that conversation with the nurse over the phone who can talk through things with you, the symptoms that your child is having, is really valuable. And then you can make the decision of, yes, we do need to go to ED tonight in Whangarei and make that big drive, or actually we're okay to wait till morning, or we can make another phone call at 2 a.m. if we're concerned.
If really gives that. Yeah, it gives Whānau that empowerment, to make that, and gives them some reassurance to whether, we do need to jump in the car right now, or we can actually just wait a few more hours and see how things are going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really hard decision to make. So having Plunkett line there to talk you through that decision is a huge benefit for the rural Whānau.
Yeah, beautiful. And another thing that we did talk about, Marianne, when we were prepping for this conversation, was the importance of connectedness for our rural whānau, especially with young tamariki. What kind of supports or things are out there to help bring mums and pepe and tamariki together?
Yeah, so I know, particularly in the Dargaville area, as I've got to know the area more and more, there are some really cool parent groups, play centres, mainly musics in the area. And for a lot of these groups, the person who coordinates them are often off farms, and so they really understand that the mama, when she turns up late, maybe wearing her gumboots and leaving them at the door, that's completely normal in the rural communities. And being able to get out and someone understanding that you're running late because the milking didn't go quite right, or you're late feeding calves is important. And I think that really helps, that connectedness in the community. It's also great for the socialisation of their children as well. They're busy on the farm, getting out and socialising with other children doesn't always happen that easily. So being able to get out once a week, pop into the local play group or mainly music, and having someone who's running it, who understands why you're running late and you've actually turned up right at morning tea time instead of the actual play activity, they're absolutely fine with that, and we'll give them that reassurance that, hey, we've been there, we've done this, we know what it's like. Yeah, come on in and have a chat. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Cool. All right. And I guess with Plunkett as well, we have got some really cool virtual services available now, where video calls and things are available. So I'd just like to pass over to Nicole so she can share a bit more about that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Marianne. So the virtual space is developing every day, but currently we have obviously Plunkett line, which is 24/7, 7 days a week. There's always a registered nurse at the end of the phone, and it is free. You don't have to be a Plunkett client to actually call us at Plunkett line. And the best thing is you can just ring for reassurance. You can ring with just a question. It doesn't have to be a whole swag of things. And also we do with Plunkett line, you can ring for well child and sick, so baby might be sick, and like you said, Marianne, you're questioning whether you need to head in or not. Or it could be your appointment with Marianne isn't for another month and you've got a question that's just burning about sleep, solids, anything, behavioural toilet training, we can answer those questions for you in the interim. We also offer sleep and breastfeeding VCs via Plunket Line. There's on our website, we have the virtual bite sessions. So they do solids talks, behaviour, toilet training, all of that, which you just join in like a Teams call. Also, there's the website, which has a chatbot on there, so you can ask any questions online anonymously. And then also I am running the virtual pool, which we offer well child appointments virtually. So maybe you need that appointment between, June and August, but you can't get off the farm, and we can offer that service virtually.
Oh, yeah, it's always good to provide that option for families.
Yeah. So we have had a question pop through. So it says, how many times will the nurse come to me for an appointment?
So I can answer a little bit of that. In the Dargaville area, or where I'm working currently, we always try to get out and do that first visit at home, because it's a really good way for us to connect with families. Find out how they're going on their parenting journey, and then from there we can also work out, do they have transport to get into clinic, what's happening in their lives. So really it just depends on the needs of the whānau. Often majority of parents I see are happy to come into clinic, but I do always reinforce to them, if things crop up, if they have an injury in the family, the car breaks down, just any sort of concerns around those sorts of things where they are struggling to access our service, we will always try to get out and do a visit for them. At times we may offer a virtual appointment if that appointment needs to be done sooner rather than later and we don't have space sort of in the calendars immediately. But yeah, it's definitely something that we will endeavour to do. If there's a need there to be seen at home, we will do our absolute best to get out and see them.
Yeah. And I mean, I was going to say, I guess the takeaway is we understand that every parenting journey is different and we want to be there to support that journey, however that looks. So yes, we have some set visits that we try to get in, but that doesn't mean we only see you that many times. We can see you as much or as little in between as you would like. Whatever support that whānau needs, we're there for. And however that may come across or look might be different from person to person. Cool. I think there's one more question that's popped through. So how do virtual appointments work and how would I get that? So I can take that one if you like, Marianne.
Sounds good.
So with virtual appointments, you can just ring through to the admin line and you can just ask, hey, I'd like to have my well child appointment virtually, or I'd like to talk to a nurse virtually. They're then able to go through and pop that in. Or if you've got an appointment already with a nurse that you would like to maybe change to a virtual, that nurse can still see you. She can just change it to a virtual appointment. You'll get a Teams link and you just join via that. Cool. Well, I think that might be just about us coming to the end of our time together, Marianne. So I'd really like to thank you for sharing your expertise, and thank you everyone to watching and commenting. Was there anything you'd like to add at there, Marianne?
No, it's been great, Nicole. Yeah, good to share some more information about what we can do for the rural whānau.
Yeah, and I guess any more questions, pop them in and we will get back to them, or give us a call on Plunket Line. And yeah, and I guess just to close us out is Marianne can probably testament to this, is we are very good at, if we open a gate, we'll close the gate. So we're very hyper aware. We don't want to create any more work for whānau. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Marianne.
Cool. Thanks, Nicole.
And thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, thank you.